Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 412. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today's show topic is visibility plus credibility equals more money. Visibility plus credibility equals more money. You guys know I'm pretty big on formulas if you've listened to the show for any period of time. I like to break things down in bite-sized chunks so they're more digestible. So today we're going to talk about visibility and credibility. And so if you're an entrepreneur or a prospective entrepreneur, these are two things that you definitely need to be successful and make money. Now, you don't have to be personally visible, but either your business, your product, or your service, or yourself need to be visible and also credible to your prospective clients. Now, before we get into today's show, I just want to share a few things with the BEB family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and resource links, such as the link to my new book, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. Also, 2 platforms I've created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide Black community, BeSmartByBlack.com and HireBlackFreelancers.com. Also, my new rebranded, rebooted BEB Academy is open. So make sure you get 3 days free access to the Academy, which is an online learning portal that has all type of resources to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Online courses, master classes, and resources. It doesn't matter what stage of entrepreneurship you're in, from a beginner all the way to a seasoned veteran. Go to BEBacademy.com and get 3 days free access to everything inside the Academy. Now, let's get ready for today's episode. Before I forget, guys, make sure you go to the website, blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, and get the show notes for each episode. So if you're jogging right now, running, you're in the car, and you can't write down the links or things that are pertinent about this episode, go to blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, and on the bottom of every page, there'll be a newsletter sign up or a join us sign up, which is the same thing. And the BEB newsletter comes out every Monday morning and Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it has the notes to all of the episodes. So if, once again, you can't write things down, there's a link that I mentioned that you can't write down or jot down or remember, make sure you get the show notes. Now, let's jump into today's content. Visibility plus credibility equals more money. Now, the first thing is, guys, you know the old saying, people buy from people that they know, like, and trust, right? And that's a pretty, astute observation. Know, like, and trust. What I'm going to talk about is visibility and credibility equals more money, which is very similar. But let's start off with the definition of visibility and credibility. So visibility is the state of being able to see or be seen. The state of being able to see or be seen. Now, in this case, obviously, you want to be seen in terms of visibility. Also, credibility, the quality of being trusted and believed in. The quality of being trusted and believed in. And these are 2 components, guys, that make any business more successful. Now, it's funny, I was going to play on the title and put visibility plus credibility equals profitability, but that's not necessarily the case. So I said equals more money, because in terms of being profitable, there are other components that have to be in place for you to be a profitable business. But I guarantee you, if you have more visibility and more credibility, you will make more money. It's up to you to be profitable. So that all is based on the products and or services that you sell, your market, who you're selling to, and your pricing. Product, pricing, and perception. All of those things need to be aligned for you to be profitable. That's a whole nother show that I actually did probably about 4 or 5 months ago. So if you want to check that out, make sure you go to the catalog and just type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, product, pricing, and perception, and you'll be able to get that show. I can't remember the show number right off the top of my head. But let's dive in first. Number one, how do you create visibility? Okay, so if you're not seen, guess what? It doesn't matter how great your product or service is. If nobody knows about you or your product or your service, then they can't purchase your product or your service. Now, certain businesses have different front-facing things to the audience. So, for example, this podcast, it's me. I'm visible, okay? So I'm the front-facing piece or component to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. But you could have a product-based business where nobody even knows who you are. So think about the products you use, and do you really know who owns that business? And so something has to be visible, either yourself, your product, and or your service. So it could be all three. It could be one of the three or two of the three. But once again, you need to have that visibility for people to know that you're around. There's an old saying, right? And I got it, but I didn't really get it. If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a sound? Of course it makes a sound. The thing is, nobody hears it though. And so without being visible, nobody is going to see you. So how do you build visibility? So there's several different ways that we can do this. Number one, if you guys have listened to the show for any period of time, I always talk about building a platform. Building a platform. And a platform is a way you can communicate with your audience at any time. I'm not going to get too heavy into this, but a platform is something that you own. It's not social media. You don't own that. Okay. You're just renting space on there and they can shut you down at any time. And I talk about that all the time. A platform is a communication vehicle such as a podcast, right? Nobody can shut this down. I control this. A website, a blog. Nobody can shut that down. I can control that. Okay. A newsletter. Also videos, but not videos on YouTube because yes, YouTube can shut you down. But if you have a website, you can host your own videos. So building a platform. And what the platform does, it allows you to communicate with your audience at any time. Okay, that's visibility. So for example, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you get new heat from Jay Jones and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. This podcast is a platform. The new website is a platform. Okay, my newsletter is a platform. My database, my email base is a platform. So those are all ways that I can communicate with my audience at any given time without anybody being able to restrict me. So remember, guys, when I talk about building a platform, it's not about having millions of social media followers. That's great. You want to have that. That's gravy. What you want to do is you want to leverage those social media followers to build your platform, to get them in your database with email, text numbers, all of that type of stuff. So that's the number one way to build visibility. The problem with building a platform for most people is it's a long game. So building a platform is a long game. It's so funny. I just realized coming up in probably about 8 weeks, this show will be airing for 8 years. So we're episode 412 right now. So 412 consecutive weeks, I've been consistent building this platform. Okay, that takes a long time to do that. It takes commitment and you have to believe in what you're doing. So the reason a lot of people don't build platforms is because they don't have the longevity or they don't have the long game in mind. They're always thinking about getting that short money. Short money is good money too, but long money is better. So building a platform increases visibility. And one of the biggest things that it does, guys, it allows you to connect with your audience at any given time. And if you've listened to the show for any period of time, you know, I always use the example of Amazon Prime Days, right? All Amazon is doing is sending out emails and notifications to their customer base, which is us, that, hey, we got these great sales. So if you build a platform, you can create your own Prime Days at any time. If you have a 10,000 name email list, you send out a promotion. A certain percentage of that audience is going to convert and accept whatever offer that you have. So when you build a platform, you're building stability and longevity for your business. And so we're talking about how to create visibility. And let me just go back. Today's show topic is visibility plus credibility equals more money. So in terms of building or creating visibility, building your platform, another way to create visibility is running ads. So if you have a product or service that you're trying to sell, obviously you can run ads on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can do native advertising, Google ads or whatever. And that's called paid media. And there are three types of media. Owned, earned, and paid. So owned media, that's media that you own. I just talked about building a platform. So if I have an email database of 50,000 people, I can send out information or content to that. So I own that. I own that media. Earned media is when somebody picks you up or carries you. So for example, if you do a press release and a media platform picks up the press release, that's earned media. If somebody retweets a tweet that you send, that's earned media. Okay. And the last media is paid media. That's running ads. Okay. And once again, there's owned, earned, and paid. But these are ways that you can create visibility. Another way is, and I mentioned this earlier, create a social media following, which is a great way. Everybody's on social media. You don't necessarily have to be big on each platform. Maybe pick 2 or 3 platforms and maybe have one that you're the biggest on. I know a lot of people either pick Twitter or Instagram, depending upon, what they like and where their people are, their audience is. So create a social media following. But once again, the caveat to that, guys, is you don't own that social media following. And I've been telling you guys for the last 2 years probably about there's so many people that build businesses solely on social media and then get shut down by something they do or by something one of their competitors do. All right. So people are out there trying to sabotage businesses. OK, I know a couple of BEB family members that lost very lucrative 6-figure businesses because a competitor helped shut down Instagram accounts, Twitter accounts. And so when your business is solely based on somebody else's platform, then you're at risk. Okay, we're talking about visibility. So creating social media following is great, but don't let that be the be all that ends all. Okay, because that can be easily taken away. Another way to build visibility is obviously create content, video, audio, or written. Okay, the highest form of content is video. With video, you can strip away the video and now you can strip the audio out of that and you have audio content. You can take the audio content and have it transcribed and now you can have written content. So create content on your own site, post on other people's site, guest post and all that good stuff. You're creating visibility. Also, you want to share your knowledge on other platforms. So be a guest on podcasts, be a contributing writer to a blog post. Go in and comment on social media. Don't go in there just trying to sell stuff, but make quality comments or contributions. So if you're in a Facebook group, it's a way to actually share your knowledge on other people's platforms. So I kind of mentioned this before, but it's called earned media, getting your content posted on other platforms. And before I forget, guys, speaking of earned media, if you want to learn how to get free publicity, go to freepublicitysystem.com. It's actually a PDF that I created that will help you create press releases to get free publicity for your business, your books. If you're an author, it's a great way to do it. If you have any online courses, if you're a coach, if you're an entrepreneur, ain't nothing cheaper than free, as my grandfather used to say. Go to freepublicitysystem.com and get the free PDF download. I'm glad I just remembered that. freepublicitysystem.com. Get your free PDF download and learn how you can create winning press releases that can get you free publicity. All right. So what we're talking about today, guys, is visibility plus credibility equals more money. So I just talked about the visibility aspect. Now we want to talk about credibility. And credibility is the quality of being trusted and believed in. So how do you create credibility for your audience? One of the key factors in terms of creating credibility is being in alignment. So remember, everything that must be aligned to ensure your credibility. And when I say alignment, just use the example of somebody that's supposedly a multi-million-dollar real estate agent, right? If they drive up into a $10 million house and their car is all raggedy, it's got smoke coming out the back, and not saying that this always makes sense because Sam Walton used to drive an old beat up truck. But on the average, if I'm selling $10 million real estate, I got 3 hubcaps off, smoke coming out the back, cars puffing along down the road, that isn't being in alignment with what I'm doing. So your credibility is automatically shot right out the door. So be in alignment, okay? Product, perception, and pricing. So if those 3 things aren't in alignment, and I don't care what business you're in, then you're not going to sell. So in terms of credibility, you have to be in alignment. And I'm just going to digress real quick and tell a short story about being in alignment. And I've used this story before, but I always forget. I think everybody's been with me from day one, but a lot of people, this may be their first time listening. So just indulge me if you've heard this story before. Years ago, I'm not going to call the company's name. I was working at one of the top financial advisory firms in the country. And during the training session, you're supposed to be a financial advisor helping people manage their money, right? And so during the training session, they actually had a class where they taught people how to knock on doors. And they had this down to a science. Now, you're supposed to be managing money, and they had you knocking on residential doors and also business doors. So they had the system down. You would knock on the door. You would stand back 6 to 8 feet. And hey, I'm such and such from such and such company, wanted to talk to you about your retirement or whatever. So once again, so being in alignment. Now, if I'm a financial advisor and I work for one of the largest financial advisory companies out there, and I'm out there knocking on doors, random doors, people that have never raised their hand and said, hey, I'm interested in this. And that was another thing. You're wasting a whole bunch of time. And now I'm knocking on random doors and I'm telling people, hey, I can help you manage your money. So my first thought would be, if somebody knocked on my doors, if you're that good, why aren't you in the office managing money? You're out here knocking on random doors, not even prospect doors, random doors. And so when I talk about alignment, what that actually did for that any financial advisor that did that put them in a position or perception of being a peddler. They weren't a professional financial advisor. They looked like a peddler. So once again, how to create credibility, you must be in alignment. And it blew my mind that a Fortune 100 company would actually be teaching this in terms of trying to get their financial advisors to get assets under management. The first thing that I said, which I thought was the dumbest thing, is you need a lead magnet. You need people to raise their hand, people that have an interest in your product and or service. Why am I going to knock on 500 doors and maybe find 2 people that have an interest, even though they didn't even call me or anything, versus knocking on 20 doors of people that have raised their hand and say, I'm interested in financial services or whatever you're selling. So we're talking about how to create credibility. So you have to be in alignment. Okay. So that ensures your credibility. You can't talk right and walk left. Okay. Another way to ensure credibility, become an expert in your field. Now, I'm doing the air quote signs. What is an expert? A lot of times people are considered experts when they are authors, when they write books. That's why books are so popular. Okay, people think that you have to be very learned to write a book, and that's not necessarily the case. As long as you know something about a subject and you're able to communicate that, you can be a very successful author. So think about when Oprah had her TV show. Who got on the show? It was only a very few type of people. Either you were a very celebrated author, actor, politician, or a entertainer, movie star. But beside that, you had very few regular people. And so in terms of creating credibility, you can become an expert. And so you can write a book, you can have, 3 letters, but, in front of your name, PhD, whatever, MD, JD, whatever it is, 2 or 3 letters, so you can get higher education, or you can be out there doing the work. So become an expert. All right. Another thing is, guys, and this is very critical when you have a website or something like that, it's having social proof in the form of reviews and testimonials, right? Social proof in terms of reviews and testimonials. So if you go to a website and you see video reviews or testimonials, that can give people an air of credibility. Now, I'm going to be honest, a lot of reviews and a lot of these testimonials are BS, right? But if you go to like Amazon, for example, they had a whole big thing where people were leaving fake reviews on products, and it just got real crazy. So, but for example, on iTunes, right, you can go on iTunes and look at a podcast and look at the reviews. And so those are probably pretty unbiased reviews. Amazon, once again, the majority of the reviews are probably real, but you can tell the ones that aren't. So making sure that you have social proof in the form of reviews or testimonials, that gives you credibility. And the last thing is have your content on credible platforms. Okay, like news sites, TV sites. And I'll use Oprah again. There's a thing that they call the Oprah effect. When you went on Oprah, it didn't matter who you were, what you were selling, or what you were into. Automatically, your thing skyrocketed. If you were an author, your book sold out the door. If you were in a movie, your movie got better, more receipts. People went to go see it. So having your content on credible platforms. I'm going to take you back to what I just talked about earlier, freepublicitysystem.com. So when you look at my website, and I've been featured on Fox, Mashable, USA Today, all throughout my entrepreneur career, Essence Magazine, Source Magazine, all types of different things. That's credibility. Because if you're on certain platforms, guys, that gives you credibility. So being on Fox 29 News in Philadelphia is more credible than being on Joe's website, right? So if you're interested, guys, in creating or learning how to get free publicity by creating winning press releases, go to freepublicitysystem.com and get my free PDF. It's a 12-page PDF, and it's going to help you get credibility by learning how to write and promote your press releases. So once again, go to freepublicitysystem.com. So in terms of creating credibility, like I said, when you get your content on credible platforms, then people just say, yo, they must be solid, because Fox News or USA Today or the New York Times wouldn't have them in there if they weren't credible sources. And what we're talking about today, guys, visibility plus credibility equals more money. So how does this equate into more money? We're going to get into that real quick. But before that, guys, I just want to share my resource links and social media contacts before we jump into the last part of the show. Now, everything I'm about to tell you, family, is on blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. I spent a lot of time and money to redo and rebrand the website. So all of the resources that I'm talking about are on the site. So go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, hit the Learn tab, and everything that I'm going to tell you is right there. All right. Real quick, I'm just going to reiterate. My new book is out, A New Black Wall Street, Circulating the Black Dollar Worldwide by Building Successful E-Commerce Businesses. Go to anewblackwallstreet.com. Pick yourself up a copy, $14.95 print version, $9.95 digital version, or you can just go to blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. I mentioned also at the top of the show, 2 sites I've created to help circulate dollars in the worldwide black community. BeSmartByBlack.com. If you are a black product producer that wants to sell your products to black consumers, upload your product information. It is totally free, and sell your product to black consumers worldwide. Now, I didn't forget about you freelancers. So if you do anything on Fiverr.com or Freelancer.com, I've created HireBlackFreelancers.com. Once again, it is a free platform. Upload your information and you can connect with Black consumers and Black business owners that are looking to hire Black freelancers. Also at the top of the show, I mentioned BEBacademy.com, an online learning portal that will help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Get 3 days free access to everything in the portal, BEBacademy.com. And last but not least, if you're looking to build a brand, pound for pound, this is the best product on the market. Brand Builder Academy Elite, BBAelite.com. It is a 15-week implementation program to help you build a physical products brand or a digital products brand. It also has a live coaching component where you get on the line with me once a month. So go to BBAelite.com if you're interested in building a brand, pound for pound, the best course on the market if you're looking to sell physical and or digital products. Once again, guys, everything is at blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com. Now, real quick, my social media contact information. Anything long, guys, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, JAYJONES@blackentrepreneurBlueprint.com, Facebook, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, Twitter, jjones001, JAYJONES001. YouTube, guys, make sure you sign up for the YouTube channel. I have additional content on YouTube that is not on the show. And yes, the show does come out on YouTube every Monday. Instagram, I got 2 IG accounts, family. The first one is JJones for real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. The second one is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. LinkedIn, connect with me there, J Jones, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Clubhouse at I am J Jones. And also, don't forget my new companion podcast, AskJLive.com, where you can jump on with me live and ask me questions, and I'll give you immediate answers. So I get a lot of emails and DMs with questions. So just jump on the show, AskJLive.com, and you can subscribe to the show. Now, everything I say, guys, once again, go to BlackEntrepreneurBlueprint.com, and everything is right there at your fingertips. Hit the Learn tab. You'll find all of the educational stuff. Hit the About tab. You'll find all of my contact information. All right, so let's get ready to get back to the last part of the show. And we're talking about visibility plus credibility equals more money. And the question is now, how does that equate to more money? So that's pretty simple, guys. It's almost like the people buying from people they know, like, and trust. So the more people that see you, your product, or your service, the more visible you are. Now, once again, it doesn't have to be all 3. It could be 1, 2, or 3 components. So if you are the face of your business, if you're a coach or a consultant, then you're the visible portion of that. Okay. If you sell physical products, once again, you can be in the background. Nobody knows who you are. If you sell digital products, the same thing. So how does this equate to more money? The more people that see you or your product or your service, that trust you or your product or your service to do what it says it will do, there will be a certain percentage of those people that will convert to customers and purchase your offers. Okay, if they see you, if they believe you, and you promote an offer or a product and or a service that is aligned, product perception and pricing, if it makes sense, there's a certain percentage of that audience that's going to convert. They're going to accept your offer. Okay, that's how it equates to more money. Once again, I don't know if it's going to be profitable because everything else has to make sense in your business. Some of you guys are selling your products and services for a way lower price than you probably should be selling. And a lot of that could be dealing with, product perception and pricing, or it could be lack of confidence. Okay, but when you show these things, when you have that visibility and when you have that credibility, you automatically should be making more money. A lot of times people try to create this mysticism around business, and it's really not mystical, right? Buy low, sell high, right? Add value. There's a price value seesaw, right? So price is what you pay. Value is what you get, or what you perceive that you get, right? So if your price is higher than the perceived value, guess what? People probably aren't going to convert and buy your product or service. But if your perceived value is higher than your price, then people will convert. And so it's a delicate balance. And that's why I always talk about product, price, and perception. Everything must be aligned. So if I go to a car lot and I see an Audi A8 and a new one and it's selling for $10,000, something's wrong, right? Because that's not the perception and the pricing. We know what the product is. It's a good product. The perception is great, but the pricing is off. So I'd be very leery about buying a $10,000 Audi A8, right? Now, if I went to a car lot and I saw a 1999 Chevy Taurus and it was for $1,000, that would be more aligned with what you think, product perception and pricing. And so once again, in terms of being profitable, that's totally different, guys, than making money. You can make money but not be profitable. You see that on profit and loss statements all the time with businesses. Sometimes it's done on purpose and sometimes it's not. But what we're talking about today, guys, is visibility plus credibility equals more money. Don't make entrepreneurship super hard. I did a show last week, episode 411. Go listen to it. It's a simple formula: problem, solution, result. And the key question is, what does that mean? What's the problem? Okay, what problem can you solve? What's the solution? The solution is your product and or service. What's the result for that customer? And what does it mean to that customer? Okay, problem, solution, result, and what does it mean? I'm not going to get into last week's episode, but it digs into the psyche of why people buy, okay, and how to really sell a product or service. If you solve a problem, people don't care if you're fat, skinny, short, tall, pink, yellow, green, black, white, whatever it is. If you can solve a problem for somebody, then they will spend money with you. Once again, problem, solution, result. And also the price value seesaw. Okay, if you're selling something that is aligned with the product perception and pricing, then you're going to probably sell items or products or services. If it's not aligned, if one of those things is off, you're not going to sell. So don't make entrepreneurship crazy. I know there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into it. Remember, an entrepreneur only does three things: think, create, and execute. Thinking is super easy. We do that all the time. The creation phase is a little bit different. It's a little harder. You have to create your product or service. You have to create your business concept. You have to create your sales and marketing funnels. You have to create your lead generation system. The creation is harder. The execution is the hardest, and that's where most people fail. All right, guys, we're about to get out of here. But before we do, I say this each and every week. We get more and more downloads because of you, the BEB family. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast, the new blackentrepreneurblueprint.com website. Make sure you check that out. And also the ecosystem. We want the website to be the place where Black entrepreneurs go for resources. Once again, please continue to spread the word. And remember, guys, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community to help build and support Black-owned businesses. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.